Good morning, and thank you for tuning in to the Andrew Tate Show, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We've got a great show for you guys today. We're going to be covering the CFP new revenue split, the Dallas Cowboys and Ezekiel Elliott, Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs salary cap, and the AFC team reportedly considering Justin Field trade. And as always, at the end of the show, we'll be diving into our oddities of the day. Before we start, I'd like to ask that you guys like and follow the show. Also, we get a number of questions from viewers that come in during the show, so to ensure that your question gets read on the air, I ask that you use the tips and donation link with your question. That link is gsmcpodcast.net. This puts your question at the top of the list so that I can see it, and it also just really helps the show. Hello, Tate. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? Faith is all formal today. I'm noticing. I'm struggling a little bit. Yesterday I was struggling a little bit today.
I'm also struggling, but fake it till you make it. I went to bed really late last night, so
I don't even know what my issue was. Yesterday I was a mess. All day. It was nap time all day for me. I had a full day, but I wanted to go home and go to bed every second of yesterday. And then this morning, a little rundown. So at some point, there's going to be some vacation time coming. I'm just leaving y'all with Faith. I'm going to hit the deuces.
Those are the shows you don't watch.
Yes, you do. That you know. It would be it's going to be very different though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't quite know what you would cover. What would you cover? Let's say on a day, let's say you're filling in just Faith.
What would I cover? It would probably be strictly college football, because that's the sport that I know most about.
You'd kill on college football.
All of it would be Georgia Bulldog segments.
Why Georgia should have been in the playoffs and how they could have won the national championship.
Yeah.
Michigan's a fraud.
Boo.
Yeah, I could totally see you doing that. And then the very next day, I'd be in here to fight back for my Wolverines. All right, let's see. What do we have going on? And to show you, sometimes I have my trusty old drink, but then also, I need a little extra.
One of these days, Tate's just gonna fall over from heart failure.
Oh, damn! I'm not like the dude that was eating 9 Big Macs a day for 40 years.
You know what those things do, though? Those things are so bad for you. That's why I drink my tea in the morning. 35 milligrams of caffeine.
There's the same amount of tea. Matter of fact, there may be more. I think, if I'm almost positive on this one, a cup of tea has more caffeine than a Red Bull has.
It depends on the tea. My tea that I drink has 35 milligrams of caffeine, and a Red Bull has over 100. So
okay. I was gonna say, sorry, Faith has her little dandelion tea with butterfly wings in it.
I make myself a Thai tea every morning. It's so good, so delicious. Love it. Yummy.
I do have to. I don't drink a lot of them, but I drink more than I should of the energy drinks.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like getting up at 3 a.m. Or being at the office before 4 a.m. sometimes and things like that needs a little performance enhancers.
Okay.
And then stay into 9. So it's one of those crazy things. Anyway, hit me, my
All right.
button.
Welcome back to the reality TV show of the college football playoff. On
You're
last
right.
week's
You could
episode.
do this show.
So the CFP college football playoff is on target to sort out a new revenue split. The college football playoff leaders are on target to come to a resolution by the end of the week on a proposed revenue distribution and governance structure in the next contract. sources told ESPN, but some important conversations remain before they agree to sign a lucrative TV deal with ESPN. Commissioners of the Mountain West Conference, Sun Belt, Mid-American Conference, Conference USA, and America Athletic Conference aren't keen on the proposed revenue distribution, which honestly, who would be? Which sources say would limit the group of 5 conferences from making any substantial increase in revenue in the next contract, which would begin in 2026. One source described it as slick uptick, nominal. The question is if there is enough pushback to delay or derail the progress, or if those leagues are simply in a tough spot and have to risk being excluded from the CFP. Sources have leaned towards risk of being excluded. The CFP's management committee was expected to have a conversation about it on Tuesday evening, and one source said that the group of 5 commissioners held their own separate call to address the issue. So, starting in 2026, ESPN is poised to spend an average of nearly $1.3 billion on playoff for 6 seasons. The deal would include the final 2 years of the current CFP contract, plus a new 6-year agreement for the next iteration of the playoff, sources told ESPN. ESPN is the sole rights holder in the current 12-year contract, which expires following the 2025 season. The CFP will expand from 4 to 12 teams this fall.
Well, how do you want to handle this, Faith? I want to hear your thoughts first.
I mean, group of 5 conferences are happy with the deal that is going on right now, which I mean rightfully so, because unless you are the Big Ten or the SEC, you're not making the big bucks. And some of these schools I probably feel like should be making the big bucks, and it's not fair that only 2 groups out of all these other conferences are making way more money than everybody else. And Big Ten and SEC are already trying to do the whole monopoly thing with the structure of the college football playoff and how they want that. So I mean, I'm with the other conferences and being upset with how things are going right now.
Okay, I'm going to give you my take. And first, you started off with the group of 5, so I'll start with the group of 5 as well. Mm-hmm. It's kind of one of those things. Mm-hmm. I'm a Mid-American Conference guy. Went to the University of Akron. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, what the heck are they going to do? Are they going to go there and you're in a meeting and they're talking about they held their own private meeting?
Yeah.
So the University of Akron, Marshall, Buffalo, I'm not using just Mid-American Conference team, mm-hmm. Toledo and Bowling Green decided they're going to get together and meet because they're upset that the SEC and the Big Ten are getting too much of it. Mm-hmm. They have no say. I don't think it's right. But do you think anyone is going to care that Akron U or Toledo or Western Michigan are upset? Ohio State, I mean, the Big Ten and the SEC, it's irrelevant. It's kind of like being at a bank and a group of armed robbers walk in the room with shotguns. You have no say in what's going on. You're just a participant in the heist.
Yeah.
The college football heist.
Yeah.
And the SEC has a machine gun. The Big Ten, they got grenades on their hip. And the Mountain West and the Big Ten and the Big Sky, they're setting. No, they're not. They have dandelions in their hand. They don't even have anything to fight back. They just got dandelions. Like, please don't kill us. You understand what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's wrong what the Big Ten and the SEC is doing, But the only conversation is, what can the ACC and the Big 12 do about it? Because there's nothing that a group of 5 team can do. If the Mountain West turns around and says, well, we met with the Mid-American Conference and the Sky Conference, and we're not going to participate in the playoffs.
All right, bye.
It'd be like, love, peace, hair grease. I'm out.
Yeah, it's literally like,
cares.
see you later. Yeah, yeah.
No one would care. They wouldn't lose any ratings.
No.
They wouldn't lose any more money from from ESPN or ABC or CBS or NBC. You know, no one's gonna care about those guys. It's wrong. But they're powerless. The group of 5 are absolutely powerless to do anything about this. Now, as far as that goes, there's not much that the Big 12 and the ACC can do about it either. Right. That's the reason why they're agreeing to this. If the ACC and the Big 12 or the Pac-2 had any chance.
Yeah. It's literally because the ACC and the Big Ten are getting more of a chunk of money than like the group of 5 is. So that's probably why they're not saying anything or like.
Oh, no. It's worse than that. It's kind of like the Big Ten and the SEC are the mob, and they've showed up and they're saying, listen, you got 2 choices.
Leave the gun, keep the cannoli.
That is exactly right. Keep the cannoli. I love that one. But
I think I said that wrong, but anyway.
I don't even care. That is awesome. Leave the gun, keep the cannoli is awesome. But it's one of those things where it's like, let's say the ACC, the Big 12 says, you know what? The Mid-American Conference, the Big Sky, and the Mountain West are right. We're not signing. Then it's not only going to be like, well, the Big Ten and the SEC is just going to break off and do their own thing.
Right.
It's way worse than that. Because they can say, we're going to break off. We're going to do our own thing, but we're going to take your top 5 teams with us. Do you think if the SEC and the Big Ten created a brand new playoffs, you don't think Miami, Florida State, Utah, I don't know, Virginia, all these teams, all those top teams would be like, I love you, Big 12. It was a good go. Give you a hug, kiss on the cheek, hit them with the deuces.
Yeah.
And they're signing brand new granite rights. Same with everyone in the ACC. That's the problem. They're going mob boss on them.
Yeah.
We want more teams. We want the bye. We want a bigger chunk. They're getting 30%. I think they get 30% each. Isn't that correct?
25 to 30.
Yes. So it's 25 to 30. So that's 50% for those 2 conferences to 60% of those 2 conferences. And then the rest of the country, you guys get to split off that extra 40%. But don't forget, Notre Dame's going to get a cut.
Notre Dame gets
ACC?
1%. They get 1%. The ACC and the Big Ten, they would earn somewhere between 15 and 20. So somewhere between 6 and 10% would go to the other leagues, and then Notre Dame gets 1.
Do the math. 30%, and then between the ACC and the Big 12, they get 15% each. So that's 30%. So that's 90%, leaving 10% for Notre Dame and the group of 5. But guess what? Notre Dame, of that little last part, Notre Dame's getting the majority of that. Yeah. So University of Akron is getting a bag of Skittles, a can of sardines, and a nickel. That's all they're getting.
No, they get a box of Cracker Jacks and they get the little prize that comes.
Yeah.
That's what they get.
They don't even get a gas card to double tap. They get nothing.
Nothing. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's not much there that can be done, and there's nothing anyone can do.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they all the rest of all the group of five, all the group of five came together because they had their little meeting, and I call it the little meeting. I love these schools. I went to these schools.
Mm-hmm.
The Big 12 and the ACC is like, you know what? We're going to join and we're going to join together. The SEC and Big 10, all they have to do is put a little sign outside the door, open for business. SEC takes 5, Big 10 takes 5. They will take the top 5 teams from the Big 12, the top 5 from the ACC, and next thing you know, who's watching the TCU versus Toledo national championship game on the other one? Nobody. You got Texas versus Michigan in the national championship in the other playoff. There's 2 people watching that other playoff game.
Yeah.
And you want to know why those 2 people are watching it? Because their cable went out, and that's the only thing they had on TV. That's it. Nobody's going to watch it. These conferences are being held up.
Mm-hmm.
It's wrong what they're doing. I don't want anyone to misunderstand what I'm saying. I don't agree what the Big 10 or the SEC is doing. There's just certain things you just don't control. I don't agree what the banks do with mortgages. I think you should not have to pay, a fee. But guess what? There's nothing I can do. So I'm going to make my mortgage every month.
Listen, I don't even know how mortgages work. I'm not here yet. So
there's interest to pay on that one.
I got rent right now. That's what I know how to do.
A sister got rent.
Yeah. No, but yeah, man, oh man, oh man. Honestly, it's a
Best
tough
story
year.
on TV.
It's a tough year to be any other team or any other conference than the Big 10 and the SEC. And you feel bad for them, but it's like also like you said, who's going to watch, Western Kentucky and I don't know,
East
Northern
Carolina.
Texas.
Northern Kentucky versus East Carolina in the national championship, in the NCAA national championship, where the new mega conference is having Ohio State versus Georgia. Mm-hmm. No one's watching that.
Yeah.
Except for the dude that got his cable turned off. He got one channel. He got some rabbit ears, and he's in the swamp in Kentucky somewhere watching that game.
Yeah.
But that's all that's doing it.
Yeah. Group of 5 people, I feel for you, but also it's just the way of the world, man. The way of the world.
But see, what they're doing is this is a big bank take little bank situation. Mm-hmm. They're setting it up so, yes, right now we're on top. And as I said before in the past, there's been times where the Pac-12 was on top. Mm-hmm. There's been a time where the ACC was on top, or the Big East was on top, or the Big 8, or all these guys. But now the Big 10 and the SEC is on top, and they're trying to rig it so that never again will anybody else be on top of us. There's only 2 conferences that matter, and everybody else is holding our luggage forever.
Forever.
Forever, ever?
Forever and ever and ever. Yeah.
So.
Sorry, guys. I feel for you. I'm sorry.
And the sad thing is, this is what's going on, but this saga never ends. What happens let's say they're going to sign this deal. This deal is over now.
Yeah, I don't know why we're still talking about it, honestly.
It is over. There's nothing any of these guys can do But I'm waiting for 4 or 5 years from now where the majority share, you have these two big steroid conferences, SEC and Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're going to look at each other and say, we need to fight too. And then they're going to fight. It's never going to end. There's always going to, it's like the Highlander. There's only going to be one conference eventually.
Ooh, boy.
All right.
All right, guys. Well, with, a conclusion to this week's show of the College Football Playoff reality TV show. For this week, we'll see. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to discuss the Dallas Cowboys and Ezekiel Elliott. So stay tuned.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows with 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown. Get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. Some losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Earlier, we were discussing the college football playoff on target to sort out a new revenue split. And now we're going to be talking about the Dallas Cowboys and Ezekiel Elliott. Oh, boy. Dallas Cowboys again.
You get a lot of college football. You get a lot of Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. Gosh. Okay. So, could the Dallas Cowboys reunite with Ezekiel Elliott? The Dallas Cowboys have a serious question to answer about their running back plans for the 2024 season after letting Tony Pollard leave for the Titans in free agency and letting Rico Dowdle?
Rico, that's good enough.
Rico, okay. Contract expire on Wednesday. The team's only remaining running backs are 2023 draft Deuce Vaughn, the smallest back in the league, and Hunter, who is technically a fullback. Though Dallas is reportedly considering a pickup of former Packers #1 running back A.J. Dillon, Cowboys insider Patrick Walker suggests a reunion with former first-rounder Ezekiel Elliott could be on the table. Walker shared, I wouldn't rule out a possible reunion with Ezekiel Elliott and then also drafting a running back to tandem. His relationship with the Cowboys is still positive and the dialogue has remained open. Dillon and Elliott posted similar stats in 2023 with the veteran averaging 3.5 yards per carry to the Packers standouts 3.4 YPC yards per carry.
Yards per carry.
Yeah, I just said it. The major difference between the two is the tread on their tires. Elliott will turn 29 this year, and Dillon is only 25. Doesn't, I guess in sports, I guess that's a big age difference.
Oh, that's ancient. 29. Okay, let me translate. I speak footballese. 29 is code for he's like 65.
25's the new, 29's the new 50. Got it. Okay.
Yes, you're as for running backs, that's 25, 30, 31. That's ancient for running backs. Now, how do I feel about this?
Yes.
I have been an Ezekiel Elliott fan for years. But when it came around for Ezekiel to get his big contract with Dallas, I thought they were making a big mistake, and I said they should not sign him. They should not sign him to that big contract. And it ended up costing them. After that, each year after year, his numbers got worse and worse and worse. Then last year, they finally parted ways and separated. And Ezekiel played for the New England Patriots. And he had a decent year, but not a great year, not an okay year. It was just a okay year. You know what I mean? Yes, he has kept a great relationship with the Cowboys. Is it a feel-good story to have him come back? He was a pivotal part of the Cowboys locker room as far as being a leader in the locker room. But you've already turned that page. And I don't think you go back to that. It's different if he was a major part of the offense and he was going to be incredibly productive. But honestly, there's very little upside for bringing him in except for he's a body. You can go, and I know it's so horrible to say that Ezekiel Elliott is just a body on the Dallas Cowboys, one of the Dallas Cowboys all-time greats. Is just not someone that you want to bring back. But I would rather see them bring in a younger, more athletic running back who has more to give. Old running backs get injured. Old running backs, their production doesn't get better. It only gets worse. So I'd rather see them maybe sign a guy, but draft not just one, but a couple running backs. I don't think you definitely don't want to go in with Deuce Vaughn, who is an electrifying player, but he is so small. And when you have such a small frame running back, injuries happen. How much pounding can a guy like that take? So you need a few young bodies. I'd have Deuce on there, and then maybe I'd go out and get me a couple running backs. You're not, and the thing about it is, you're not going to spend a lot to get a running back. There aren't any running backs to take in the first round. Most of the running backs are third, fourth, fifth round picks. Wait till later in the draft, bring you in a couple of young running backs in that third, fourth, fifth round, and just turn the chapter. Bringing Ezekiel Elliott back, and I hate using this, is not an example of going all in. That's turning the clock back. It's not the move you want. Would love to see Ezekiel, be like, I don't even know, an ambassador. I know he's not ready to retire, but I would love for them to have him retire as a Cowboy on a signing day. But as far as bringing him in to be a factor in the offense, what do you gain? I don't really see a big upside to this. It's actually, I can only see it being a negative. If you bring Ezekiel Elliott in and at his age, you make him the starting running back, what production are you getting? I don't even think he had 500 yards last year, 500 to 600 yards. So you're bringing in like a 500, 600 yard running back. Then, and if you play him, you're not getting the production. But if you bench him, a lot of players are going to kind of feel kind of weird seeing Ezekiel Elliott, a DNP, did not play. Or Ezekiel Elliott, 2 carries for -3 yards. You don't want that. That's where morale and things kind of play. I could only see this hurting the Cowboys. I don't really see it as a move to advance the Cowboys to the next round. They're, and most of and pretty much this is the reason why, Faith, I said draft a quarterback. I mean, draft a running back.
Mm-hmm.
All of the impact running backs that were out there have been signed. They got signed on day one for pretty decent money. So the best option is draft a couple of running backs as your running backs of the future. Sort that out. It's not like a quarterback where, it takes years for a quarterback to adjust. Running backs are ready to go day one, but they burn out fast. Get you a couple young running backs, introduce the world to the next Cowboys running back, and move forward.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm not going that route. Honestly, you could really see a situation where there's a scenario where Zeke's not on the Cowboys, and next year Dak could not be on the Cowboys. I mean, talk about turning the page.
Mm-hmm.
But the Cowboys need to have some tough decisions to make going forward. And the Cowboys need to start thinking about getting younger. They're already a young team, but getting younger and planning for the next future of the Cowboys. I am going back in time and hoping to squeeze a little more juice off the orange that is Ezekiel Elliott when it's already all pruny and it's all raisined up already. There's not a lot of juice left on that bad boy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a guy who appreciated what Zeke did for the Cowboys and how well he played for the Cowboys. We never made it to a Super Bowl with him, but he had some amazing years. He got paid incredibly well. But no, I'm not a fan of bringing back a 29-year-old running back who didn't even perform well. He hasn't performed well. He did okay last year. He did okay the year before that. He did okay the year before that. But he got paid more money than any running back in history has gotten paid.
And he was just doing okay.
Just doing okay isn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
The money they paid the Cowboys paid him. They were hoping for Christian McCaffrey numbers, but ended up getting, below average numbers. So no, I would not bring him back. What do you say, Faith?
Well, I was going to ask you, I know.
Okay, go ahead.
You say no, but do you think that it will happen? What do you think the Cowboys will actually do?
That's a great question. Okay. That's an interesting question because I do think it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
I may not be pro this, but Jerry has always been very fond of Ezekiel Elliott. Jerry's very fond of all his players that he's brought in. If he's drafted him and you've been a Cowboy, he's incredibly loyal to you. He hadn't ruled out bringing him back last year, So looking around, if you're looking around and you're like, listen, we want to bring him back.
Mm-hmm.
I could definitely see Jerry signing off on it. Would it shock me if Ezekiel Elliott was back? No. Would I be disappointed? I wouldn't be disappointed, but it would definitely say that's not I hate to say this, an all-in move.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nostalgic move. It's not a move that moves the Cowboys to the next level of contending for a Super Bowl. Because I would also say the Dallas Cowboys team could have not only made it to the Super Bowl, but had the potential to win the Super Bowl if they had a quality running back. If they would have went out and got a Derrick Henry last year or a Christian McCaffrey instead of letting them go to the 49ers, that was the biggest difference right there. I thought Tony Pollard he wasn't the running back that we needed I shouldn't say we, that the Cowboys needed. There's no we whatsoever. I'm a Cowboy fan, but Cowboys ain't never cut me a check. So, but a stable running game really would help the Cowboys out and help Dak out. Give that defense a nice rest. That's the thing that when Ezekiel was at his peak, he could do. Long, sustained drives, 6-7 minute drives where the defense can get a blow and just and rest, coming out there fresh for that fourth quarter. Zeke hasn't been that guy in years. Years. And there's no reason to think, hey, even a year or two older, hey, maybe you can turn the clock back. Nothing tells me or shows me that is possible. It doesn't even show me in the history of the NFL. Rarely does a running back get close to 30 and says, hey, it's time for me to have my breakout year. No. That's my answer. No, don't do it.
I mean, yeah, if he's just an okay running back and this is their all-in season, why bring back just an okay running back? That doesn't really make any sense to me. But it seems like I say. They like to keep people that they've had before. It's like
yes, they do. And that's the thing. That's one of the things that people don't understand about Jerry is how loyal he is. And I'm gonna bring this up because I pulled this up while you were talking. Last year, Ezekiel Elliott rushed for 184 carries, 642 yards, and he averaged 3.5 yards carry for 3 touchdowns. So his numbers. He's coming off the worst year of his career. His last year in Dallas, he rushed for 873 yards. You know, since he got his contract, that's 1,002 yards is the best he has done. That's a far cry from 2016 where he was rushing for 1,600 yards.
Yeah.
His production has dramatically dropped. How can you look at that and say, yes, this is the guy that we want? I mean, year after year, since 2021, he had 1,002 yards. 2022, he had 876. 2023, 642. You know, it's showing year after year, his numbers are falling. So no, there's not a reason, and that's, I don't mean, like I said, don't mean anything by beating up on him, because I think he's an all-time great, and I love what he's done for the Cowboys and things, but it doesn't move the Cowboys closer to getting over and getting to the NFC Championship game, let alone the Super Bowl.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. I'm sure we will find out the minute it does, and I'm sure we'll talk about it on the show.
I like it.
All right, guys. Well, with that, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to discuss Patrick Mahomes and Justin Fields. So stick around.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
All Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Earlier, we were discussing the Dallas Cowboys and Ezekiel Elliott, and now we're going to be talking about Patrick Mahomes and Justin Fields. Now, I want to say something before I dive into this.
Uh-oh.
Mr. Dak Prescott needs to take some notes.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mr. Dak Prescott needs to take some notes. And I said what I said.
I was confused for a second, and but it took me a second to process what you were saying. Now I understand.
Said what I said. Okay. So, start out with Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes will reconstruct contract to create a $21.6 million in cap space for the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes is taking one for the team. The two-time MVP has agreed to restructure his contract in order to clear an additional $21.6 million worth of salary cap space for the Chiefs, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. Mahomes became the highest paid player in the NFL when he signed a 10-year extension worth $450 million during the 2020 offseason. His cap hit for 2024 was set at $58.6 million. The platform now has his numbers against the cap estimated to be $37 million in 2024, $66.2 million in 2025, and $68.6 million in 2026. The latest...
Sorry.
The latest money moves comes after the Chief reconstructed his contract in September of 2023, setting Mahomes up to make $208.1 million between 2023 and 2026. It was the largest deal over a 4-season span in NFL history. At the time, the team said they would revisit his deal in 2026, which likely still stands. So, this is actually not the first time Patrick Mahomes has reconstructed his contract for salary cap space. So, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna this one I'm gonna defend Dak on, okay? I gotta defend Dak on this one. One, I've been on the record that I don't think the Cowboys should pay Dak 60 or 65 million.
Mm-hmm.
First off, before I get to defending Dak, even when I hear 68 million for Patrick Mahomes, which is a massive number, it just goes down smoother, doesn't it? I don't know why. It doesn't give that burn in the chest. You know, it's not like drinking tequila that's on fire or something. It doesn't. It just goes down smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's Patrick Mahomes and he's worth every single penny.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reason why I'm defending Dak is this. This is a contract restructuring.
Mm-hmm.
And Dak has done that. He has restructured his contract. When you hear, this is for the audience as well, someone restructuring their contract, they're moving money. It's kind of like, hey, we really like the house and everything, but maybe we should move the couch into the sitting room and bring in a new couch. They'll move that money and say, okay, we're going to restructure that. We're going to give 20 million of that in signing bonus. We're going to give you a brand new signing bonus, which then frees up some cap room. He's still getting his cheddar. He's still getting, this isn't like Tom Brady who was saying, you know what? I just want to be one of the top 5 or 10 paid quarterbacks. I don't have to get this. That's a big difference. Patrick Mahomes is getting his cash. He's just restructuring it so it doesn't affect the salary cap. That's the one defense I will have for him. And most people, you're not the only one that don't know that. Patrick set up his contract in a way that made it so team friendly over the years. Yes, he set up a $500 million contract, which is nice. Again, makes it easier to go down. You know what I mean? But it is set up in a way that every so many years or so, you can move some money, move it on the back end here, give it in signing bonuses here, things like that, so you can move things around. Like Russell Wilson, his contract, you couldn't adjust it. That's the reason that kind of caused a big problem in Denver. They were like, hey, we don't want to be on the hook for 85 million. Eventually, they were on the hook for that 85 million. But Patrick Mahomes is doing, he's that guy that signed a giant deal, but also made it team friendly, which is that's a skill in itself. A contract that can benefit him and give him hundreds of millions of dollars, but still be able to be like, hey, we need to sign our all-star defensive player and get him some serious money. Why don't we just go to Patrick and restructure his contract so that our defense is taken care of? Or maybe we need to go out and get some more weapons here or there. And that's kind of what they're doing. Great organizations make things happen. That's the thing about the 49ers that are so impressive. They keep moving things around so they can go out and get a Christian McCaffrey or somebody else, or sign this player or sign that player. There's certain teams that are so good at working that salary cap, and then there's some teams that are just horrible at it. And signing Patrick Mahomes to $500 million, weird to look at that as, man, they were smart. Because, this is that contract. You put a ring on it. You know what I mean? You put a ring on Patrick Mahomes and you're not regretting it at all, because you're able to adjust things around and move within the salary cap. You've still got the greatest quarterback that may have ever played the game. You're winning Super Bowls. You're able to re-sign players. It's just like everything in Kansas City is coming up roses right now. It's impressive what they're doing.
Yeah.
See, and it's a little different than what the Patriots did. The Patriots would be like, we're gonna get rid of players a little before they're at their, they're getting older. We're gonna get rid of players, a couple years early and bring in younger players. They're working within their team and shifting and making moves and still being able to perform at a high level. It is impressive. So,
All right. Well, with that, we're now going to talk a little bit about Justin Fields. So the AFC team reportedly is considering a Justin Fields trade. The Justin Fields trade saga is anything but finished at this point, despite the Atlanta Falcons landing Kirk Cousins on a massive deal, and the Pittsburgh Steelers accepted to add Russell Wilson to the roster. These two teams were considered serious candidates to acquire Fields and now are off the board for the young quarterback. That said, another team could make a surprise run for the former number 11 overall pick in the NFL draft. According to Vic Taffer of The Athletic, the Las Vegas Raiders are kicking the tires on a potential trade for Fields. Taffer notes that Fields could reunite with the former Chicago Bears offensive coordinator Luke Getsy, who joined the Raiders after Cliff Kingsbury changed his decision and joined the Washington Commanders instead. Following an interesting season with the Bears, Fields finds himself in a complex situation. Chicago could either trade this year's number 1 overall pick and keep building around Fields, or trade the 25-year-old signal caller and focus all their attention on Caleb Williams. The Bears have had a strong start to free agency, landing former Eagles running back DeAndre Swift. The Raiders have also made some intriguing moves, agreeing to deals with D-lineman Christian Wilkins on a 4-year deal and notable quarterback Gardner Minshew on a 2-year deal. I got it.
You got it. I apologize.
Got it. So, How do you feel?
Okay. Sorry about jumping in there. I thought you'd have a little trouble with Gardner Minshew, but I got it. My girl, mere bag of shells. Okay, the Raiders. First off, Justin Field. I'm feeling bad for him right now because all these moves that are happening, a lot of people thought that he would be one of the very first people traded for. But once Kirk Cousins got signed, once Baker Mayfield got signed, you know what I mean? Once Russell Wilson got signed, now, the Bears, I think the Bears are hoping that they would get a first round, at worst, a second round. But now, as the longer you wait, the value of him is dropping and dropping fast. Might he be a third rounder or even a fourth rounder? And for all you guys that think that is crazy, Trey Lance went for a fourth round pick. And it's kind of in that same situation. The Raiders released Jimmy Garoppolo and Hunter Renfrow. So they are in the market for a quarterback. I believe they did pick up Gardner Minshew, but I'm hoping that the Raiders are not thinking about going into this season with Gardner Minshew. I'm thinking the Raiders are thinking about, or maybe they are, maybe the Raiders are going to go in there with Gardner Minshew and then draft them their future quarterback. The thing that makes me wonder what Justin Fields' future is right now, I think if the Raiders don't bite, I think the Bears are going to have no choice but to draft that first pick, draft Caleb Williams, and have Justin Fields on the roster. Sounds crazy, but listen. If the Raiders are set to draft a quarterback and they already have their veteran in Gardner Minshew, then you have a rookie contract with years to come on it. Justin Field is a situation where it's like you have a quarterback that, are you going to pick up his fifth-year option? And then are you going to have to sign him? There's still a lot of responsibility that comes with signing Justin Field. I was hoping that he would land in Atlanta, that's a place that I thought Atlanta was perfect for him. Great offensive line. He had weapons. He had a safety net tied in. He had a running game. He had a decent defense. That was a situation where I thought he could go to and excel. I thought going to a real stable organization like Pittsburgh would have been really great as well. But looking at the Raiders are in that transition phase. And I don't know if going to the Raiders is a great deal, or it may end up being better for him that they may have to wait another year. If I'm the Bears, I'm not letting them go for a fourth round pick because I kind of think a third, fourth rounder is all you're going to get for him right now. I think you're going to have to wait another year and then make that move, which it's kind of, that was the absolute worst possible option for the Bears, is to draft a quarterback and have Justin Fields on the roster. So it could come down to a desperation move where it's like, you know what, we're just going to cut our losses and we're just going to let them go for a fourth round pick or a third round pick. And the Bears would lose out. And also, I think Justin Fields will lose out, because if they do that, then he could end up in a place where he may not want to go. It's unfortunate. Sometimes the greatness of a quarterback is luck. and striking while the iron is hot. And it's unfortunate because I think the Steelers or Atlanta would have been a place where he could have showcased, turned his career into, what everyone thought he could be.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's a lot of questions. And sorry, but the Raiders haven't been known as a place that really fosters great quarterback play, or a place where a young quarterback wants to go, not for many, many decades.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an interesting situation. I'm definitely curious. If nothing happens in the next week or two, every single week, his value will drop more and more and more till the return isn't worth getting rid of him, and then the Bears could be stuck with him because I think they'd make a mistake by getting rid of him for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I look at it.
Well, seems like tough situation for Justin Fields right now.
And I thought he was going to end up. I really did think he was going to end up in a much better place. But once these guys, there's so many moves happen so fast that there isn't right now a great landing spot for him. Not that I can see. No, I don't see everyone that needs a quarterback has plans on drafting a quarterback because there's a bunch of quarterbacks in this draft. He's available at the wrong time. I still think he's a starter in the league. I still think that he has the ability to evolve into something special, but it has to be the right place. And I don't know how well I'm not sure how I feel about the Raiders. I wouldn't want to see him go there, but that's probably one of his last options.
Last option, yeah. Well, poor little Justin Fields. All right, guys.
All right.
Well, with that, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to dive into our oddities of the day. So stick around. Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Earlier we were discussing Patrick Mahomes and Justin Fields, and now we're going to be diving into our oddities of the day. A little behind the scenes, though.
Let me put my business out in the streets.
Tate likes to send me messages sometimes when we're on break, and he sent me this emoji, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And it turned out to be a sloth, and then I saw that it was a sloth after he said it was a sloth. But I just looked like a brown blob to me. I didn't know what it was.
I was just being silly, people.
Silly goose. Silly goose.
Yes.
We're silly geeses on this show.
Silly geeses.
Silly geese.
It's also weird. I'm going to tell you, speaking of that, I sent you a ladybug as well. But here's the weirdest thing of them all. My shirt actually has butterflies on it.
Oh, snazzy.
Which is weird. That is kind of weird that I'm wearing a butterfly shirt today.
It's really manly.
Alrighty.
Okay, so for our oddity of the day. Rats are high on marijuana evidence at an infested police building, New Orleans chief says. Rats have gotten into confiscated pot at New Orleans aging police headquarters, munching the evidence as the building is taken over by mold and cockroaches, said the city police chiefs. The rats are eating our marijuana. They're all high. Police Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick told New Orleans City Council members. Kirkpatrick described vermin infestations and decay at the offices that have housed New Orleans police since 1968. Says officers have even found rat droppings on their desks. The police department did not immediately respond to an emailed request Wednesday for more information on how they discovered marijuana was eaten by rats or whether any cases were impacted. City officials are taking steps to move the department to a new space. That's been a priority of the police chief since she took office in October. The chief said her 910 officers come to work to find air conditioning and elevators broken. She told council members the conditions are demoralizing to staff and a turnoff to potential recruits coming for interviews. The uncleanliness is off the charts, Kirkpatrick said, adding that it's no fault to the department's janitorial staff. They deserve an award for trying to clean what is uncleanable. So, we've got
that sounds like a rat crack house. That's what it sounds like.
We got rats high on marijuana and a police station.
They're on the sticky icky. Rat and at the police station. I don't know how I feel about this. Mm-hmm. First off, man, who knew that rats would have a taste for, the chronic?
The devil's lettuce.
Now, if you can't catch a rat high on weed, you're never catching them.
Yeah.
A rat high on weed, he's just gonna sit there staring at the corner. You just walk up and pick them and throw them in the trash. There's no motivation in that rat. Like the thing would make rats is they're all sharp and they're on edge and they're fast.
Yeah.
a rat just full on sticky icky. What is he gonna be doing?
I've never heard that terminology for that. Sticky icky.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, when have you seen somebody high on marijuana like, oh, that's the guy that's gonna win the race? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Speed and high on marijuana are not two of the same things. Mm-hmm. They should be able to catch every one of them.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, if they're eating that much of it, then and it's not like, and that's probably why it's so messy there. They're too high to go use the bathroom in a corner in a hidden low area. They're like, screw it, we don't care anymore. they're just doing their business everywhere.
So you're saying the rats have just been high this whole time? That's what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. They got little red eyes and everything, and they're just no. You know what? I shouldn't be saying that because my eyes are a little red, and I don't mess with anything. I am as clean as it comes. So I am not like these rats. But
these rats been listening to too much Snoop Dogg.
I'm serious. Like, okay, this place is so. There's more to this story because it sounds like this place is just like.
It sounds like it's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
Yes. Why not bring in some janitorial staff and start cleaning this place up, maybe?
They said the chief of police said the uncleanliness is off the charts, but she added that it's no fault to the department's janitorial staff. They deserve an award for trying to clean what is uncleanable.
Whoa.
They have a janitorial staff.
That sounds like a bunch of political, jargon. The place is trash, but it's no fault to the janitorial staff who deserves an award for their exemplary cleaning. Yeah, and there's rats and feces and everything else in there. That totally sounds like a politician that is not really speaking the truth. When have you seen, you know what? I invite somebody over to my house and it's like, man, I'm sorry about my house. It is an absolute pigsty. But it's not my cleaning lady's fault and it's not my fault. My cleaning lady deserves an award. I'm a neat freak. Well, how come there's a bag of Twizzlers on the floor over there and some dirty underwear? No, I'm sorry.
You're really painting a picture right now. Twizzlers and dirty underwear on the floor. I don't even want to know what you do in your free time.
There's Twizzlers, dirty underwear, and Cheeto dust everywhere. That is not a clean house.
No.
And there ain't no way in hell you gonna say, oh, it's not my cleaning lady's fault or mine because my cleaning lady is so good she deserves an award. Come on, cousin. Am I wrong on this one?
No, you're not.
She went too far. You know what? If she would have just stopped at, it's not the cleaning people's fault. They're doing everything they can, but as fast as it gets cleaned up, it gets messed up again. But to be like, they're so good, they deserve an award. We're going to give them the key to the city. Come on.
Not a key to the city.
Wait a minute. What did she say? They deserve an award.
Yeah. That's what she said.
This filthy precinct that got drunk and high rats covered in Cheeto dust. And you're saying the cleaning crew deserves an award? Come on. Am I looking at this wrong? Vic?
No, you're not.
That politician, I'm just saying you're lying. You're just lying.
I don't know. It's like...
Faith, you believe her?
No, I don't. Hold on. I do agree that there are places, like, if they've been left unclean for a long time, it's almost impossible to clean those things. But not everything in that house should be in that condition. And they should be trying to break down the uncleanliness. I'm sure if you keep cleaning the same thing over and over again, eventually it will be clean. Also, why don't we have an exterminator that comes to the precinct and exterminate things like bugs, rats? And why don't we have someone coming in taking care of the mold that is in the precinct? Why aren't the janitorial staff cleaning the mold? You can clean mold and get rid of mold.
You don't see what I'm talking about. That's what I mean. And the woman comes out and says, it's not their fault. It's not the cleaning crew's fault. They deserve an award. That's the thing I have a problem with.
Yeah.
The award. You can say, listen, they're doing everything they can, but because of budget issues, they're underfunded, so we don't have enough cleaning crew to address all the issues. That's a true politician. A politician saying, can't blame the cleaning crew. Yes, I know there is a rat over in the corner with a big old blunt in his mouth holding a 40 ounce.
Smoking a doobie.
Or something like that. That's a big difference. That's where I have a problem with what she was saying. That does not sound authentic. Right or wrong?
I feel like you're right on this one, yeah.
She's not getting my vote. I'm never voting for that politician because she's lying to you. If she's gonna lie for the rats and the cleaning crew, she's gonna lie for everybody.
Well, she She works on the force. She's the police superintendent. So I wouldn't really
Okay,
call
so
her
she's
a
not a
politician.
So I'm canceling her career in politics right now. No.
No, don't do it.
It makes it sound like, I think there's some budget issues because you bring in some extra cleaning crew, you can take care of some of this issues. Get in there, get some bleach, some spick and span.
Obviously, it's a budget issue because I mean, it said Kirkpatrick described vermin infestation and decay at the offices that have housed New Orleans police since 1968. So it sounds like there is a major budget issue to where they can't get a new building.
But it sounds like they haven't cleaned it since '69. That's what it sounds like.
That place hasn't been cleaned since
Faith.
1920.
Faith, there are buildings around here that are over 1,000 years old. And they can clean those buildings. You mean they can't clean? I'm calling shenanigans.
They're not long or decaying.
Yeah, I'm calling shenanigans that they can't clean that up.
I don't know. You kind of have to think about it a little bit because New Orleans is in Louisiana, and Louisiana gets hit by hurricanes a lot because they're on the coast. So maybe that has a little bit to do with it.
Well, and I understand. Not only is it on the coast, but it's also New Orleans is actually below sea level. All of that. I get all of that. I'm just saying that the lady took some creative licenses when she was talking about Bob Marley, Snoop Dogg, and Kenny Rogers, her pet rats, running around in that building. That's all I'm saying. Not Kenny Rogers. What's that? Willie Nelson. Sorry about that, Kenny Rogers. Not saying Kenny Rogers is hitting the sticky icky or anything like that.
I don't know. Kenny Rogers is really into jazz. He might be, honestly. You know some of them jazz players.
I'm afraid to ask this question. Kenny Rogers is still with us, right?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I hope he is. Look up real quick.
I know.
We can't be talking about no Kenny Rogers and then not even acknowledging that, I don't even know if he's still doing the greatest hits or not.
He died during the pandemic.
Okay. So, all right.
I'm curious now. But Willie Nelson's still alive, right?
Yeah, I believe Willie is still alive.
Man.
Willie, I think Willie's got
he's 90. Good Lord.
He
was born in 1933. 1933. That's insane to me.
That's what you do. You got to pickle the lungs and the liver up and this lasts longer.
From all that devil's lettuce he's been smoking.
Have you ever noticed, to change the topic a little bit, those people who had the hard life, a lot of them, they last a long time, don't they? And then the one guy that was just eating on a sprig of lettuce and chomping on a carrot, and he just drops over dead. He's
right,
and
then there's a guy who's eating at least 9 Big Macs a day who's still kicking.
Right, the guy yesterday eating 9 Big Macs, he's still going strong. But the dude over there, with the kale-powered shirt on, drinking a protein shake and some lettuce, he's the one that has the health issues. There's some things need to be looked in on that one too. So anyway, I didn't mean to go down that tangent there. Power to the Willie Nelson rats out there as well.
Well, it seems to be a good day for the rats at the New Orleans chief for police station. They're having a great old time.
Yes, well, of course, they got a whole room full of marijuana they can eat.
Yep.
Have you ever seen a group of guys all high on marijuana? They're never grumpy.
Can you imagine a rat with the munchies. They already have the munchies. So I feel like it's like times 10 a rat with munchies.
But yeah, you gotta they're those rats are living their best
They're
life.
living their best life, yeah. All right, guys. Well, with that, we're going to close the show out. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Andrew Tate Show, presented by GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to subscribe to the show and leave a positive review. It really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content updates. Thank you once again. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.